Hi everyone, it's Sandy here with you today for My Creative Scrapbook, and today I'm going to be unboxing the April limited edition kit from My Creative Scrapbook, and it's full of all kinds of things to help us create pages and embellish them in beautiful ways. One of our primary features this month as far as the paper collection is going to be simple stories, simple vintage lavender fields. So we're going to have a lot of purple and yellow tones, which are complementary colors. So I think we're going to have some really pretty pages this month. So let's start with the flowers. We've got 2 packages from 49 and Market, and then a package from Little Birdie. And these are just a cream color. This one's almost a pure white, but these are really neutral and will go really well with so many things. They are called Helen Amore, and there's leaves in there, and there's the little seed bits and the little tiny blossoms, but a variety of sizes there for whatever you might need. And these are some wildflowers from 49 and Market, and the color is called Kismet, and it's a variety of darker purple and lighter purple, and there's different size stems, or petals, and there's a total of 12 pieces, including your greenery that comes with that. So those are going to be great to go with all the purple tones. And then we also have some Nature's Bounty from 49 and Market, and these are in the color Soft Lilac. So this is a much lighter tone, almost pink, but really it's purple. And we've got a variety of sizes. These are more what you think of with 49 and Market, and then these are more rosette types, and then little bitty, bead type florals with plenty of greenery in there. So those will be really nice to have and coordinate with our collections. These I've already taken out, but we get, along with the papers, we're going to get the floral bits. There's 38 pieces, and there's just a little preview there. And I've already got these laid out on some cardstock to look at, but these are the floral cluster bits without, other icons. So we'll look at those here in just a moment. And then we also get the bits and pieces, and this is 86 pieces. So these coordinate with the lavender fields. And here is just a little heads up, if you can see through the cellophane, but different icons: windows, florals, bicycle, shelving, mason jars, honeycombs, and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of, icons and florals to work with for this month. We also get the cut file, or the pre-cut cut file in the kit. And this is, some pretty florals. And you can use this plain, you can colorize it. If you're a member of the Kit Club and subscribe, you can go onto the website and look under the cut files, and then you can grab the cut file and alter it however you wish. You can cut it larger, smaller, and do that kind of thing. So that will be fun as well. And then I love this stencil. It's from Little Birdie, and you can see it's a text, and it's a very small writing, but I love text type stencils. And I think this one is small enough that, you won't get caught in the lettering, with your blending tool so easily. So I am going to definitely enjoy that one, and we'll keep it on hand to use in the future. And then in addition to the simple stories, we have a couple of sheets from Stamperia, and I love them. They're gorgeous. And I really can't see a name for this one. It's just SBB 1108 on this one, but I don't see a name. But there's this large butterfly with some mixed media behind it in purple, with paint running down. And then, excuse me, I need a drink. We have like some coffee stains, some tickets, postage marks, and then, you know, florals here along the corner and a little dragonfly. Very pretty. On the back side, we have purple wood planks. So these are always fun to work with. And, you know, if you don't like a lot of images and want to create your own, you know, layout from scratch, if you will, you can use this and then, you know, add your inks or your modeling paste, your rub-ons, just whatever you would like. But I love that butterfly. And then the other paper is SBB 1109. And this one has hydrangeas at the bottom and a few at the top in a more faded out style. And then there's some butterflies throughout. And these are really pretty. There's darker purple here and then lighter, almost pinkish tone down here. And then the back side of this one is really sweet. It's has this little kitty up here in the corner. It says remember, and there looks like some envelopes and then little paw prints right there. And then some florals over here in the corner with thoughts. So thoughts and remember, those could be good titles, but you know, I don't currently have a kitty, and so I'd have to really dig for pictures. But anyway, if I want to do that, I do have a friend that's got a kitty named Bella, and I could scrap her. All right, so we're going to get into the Simple Stories collection, and this is their cardstock stickers this time, and it's just called Icons. And they have done this a little differently this time. It is in 2 6-inch sections that you could like tear this apart, and then that might be better for filing it away for later use and that kind of thing. They've included 2 decorative strips this time, you know, 12-inch. One is the scallop border and one is the more book edge border. And my golden doodle is over here. It's trying to sniff my leg. So anyway, here is like a nice cluster of florals. It says sweet memories, some honey dripping down from the honeycomb, a couple of hexagons, and another honeycomb down here with some bees. I like to add bees to my projects. A little bicycle. That icon is kind of coming back, I think. Some lavender here, word phrases, a large title right there, enjoy, and some florals, another mason jar, and then another honeycomb, florals, a little hat with lavender on it, a few hearts. We always have to have our hearts, and then florals and a mason jar, or honey jar. And then this is your word chat down here. So these are colored this time, but I think that will coordinate very nicely with this collection. So I'm kind of excited to use that, and then, you know, it'll be easy for storage later on. All right, so we're going to start with this paper, and it's called Beautiful Moments, and it has, you know, a light lavender background with, it looks like must be lavender, very faded out in the background, and then the honey jars and the dipping stick and a little bumblebee with amongst the florals. But it's a really pretty paper. It's so much warmer and richer in person than what you see, you know, if you just go to one of the online scrapbook stores to look at it, or even the Simple Stories website. It just doesn't do it justice. It's so much prettier in person. And then the back side of it is just honeycomb, and there's a variety of colors, which I really like that. So this would be great as a primary page, just as a layer, however you might want to use it. But I think this would be, you know, really fun and very neutral if you want something neutral. This paper right here is called Buzz and Bloom. I really like that title. That's cute. And this is kind of a black background with floral clusters in different sizes, and then some single flowers, you know, dotted around. So these are separated enough that if you wanted to fussy cut them, you could, you know, you'd have to trim around the little delicate pieces, but definitely designed where you could fussy cut if you wanted to. I like to use papers like this as layers, as little border strips and that kind of thing. That's what usually works best for me. On the back is a white sheet. It's very white with, you know, lavender on it, and some little tiny dots, almost like, you know, you splattered on it. So these would be really good for layering. And then here is the Sunshine and Honey is what this is called. This is kind of what I call their Polaroid page or Instagram, whatever, but more like Polaroid pictures. But it's a bunch of different images, anything from like lavender fields or wheat fields to pantry shelves, you know, a satchel full of lavender, honey and bread, a basket full of honey, just this kind of same iteration all across the page here. So I have used a page like this as a background. I've taken strips of it and used it that way. So you can cut them apart. There's lots of different ways you can use that page. And then the flip side is kind of a greenish khaki color, and it's got some lavender, what you want to, not really a wreath, but kind of a wreath, and then little bumblebees or honeybees scattered about with little florals. And so this will be really good as a layering piece. And then this page is called Wild at Heart. So it's just a bunch of lavender. I presume this is lavender. It's what it looks like to me. And that's the name of the collection, so we're just going to go with that. And so again, a really nice layering piece, or you know, something that where you might want to use a 4-inch strip or something like that. I suppose you could even turn it horizontally. On the back side, though, we have the collage paper, which is going to be my jam, I think. I really like using these as foundational pages. And you could even lighten it up by just, you know, brayering on some light gesso or something like that. And or you can cut it into pieces and use it behind your photos. Really pretty colors. This is really nice. It's called Just Be You, as in B-E-E for bees. And we have a whole bunch of honey jars here. And some of them are partially filled. Some of them are smaller. Some of them have, you know, ties on them. Others just some twine. And so it's a nice variety. Again, it's a really rich color of yellow because it's got a lot of brown in it. And so it's very grounding. It'll be fun to see, you know, all the different ways people will come up with this. You know, there's a little white spaces here where you could, you know, you could jot in dates, or you could jot in the names of people that you're documenting and that kind of thing. So another fun idea. And then the back is a whole bunch of honeybees, and behind them is this really very faint honeycomb all across the page. So it's very neutral, and it would be a nice layering piece, or it would even be a nice background piece, you know, and then, you know, build upon it and just use it instead of white cardstock. This one is called Life is Sweet, and it's kind of a khaki polka dot with a little bit of collaging on the sides, bicycle icon here, and then satchels and baskets full of lavender down here. I've been seeing a lot of bicycles this year, so I think they're coming back. And on the back side, again, it's very, very white with purple florals, and it's really a very pretty page. And I really want to use this one in some kind of way because it's, you know, clean and crisp and really pretty. If you wanted to, you could fussy cut these larger flowers. I think you could do that easily. So lots of uses for that right there. And then we have our lavender sky, our already built page, because they've already done lots of layering of elements. And all you really have to do is, adhere your photograph, add a title, maybe a couple of florals, and your page is done. It's a good way to scrapbook something quickly that you want to document that's important to you. And it's just got the gorgeous purple and yellow, which are complementary, and then the green, which would be like one or two slides over, like the triadic or whatever. So really beautiful page. And on the back side, it's a big contender because it kind of looks like a field of lavender, but this almost looks like fields of wheat, and rolling mountains in the back. So this would be there's a grid behind everything. So I think this would be a beautiful page to use, along with your icons and florals and all that, because it's so neutral and very faded out. So I'm loving that one too. This one is called Stay Golden, and that's really the color here. It's just a really bright yellow gold, and it has the floral clusters on it that are kind of small. But if you wanted to fussy cut them, they are apart where you could do that. And but I can see this as layering pieces, sidebar pieces. Great for a base, for cards if you want to make cards. Lots of ideas. And then this one is just so welcoming. When I saw this one, I just envisioned living on a farm and having a separate potting area or a separate building where I could go and tend to my beehives and store my honey and all that kind of thing, and just play with flowers. Down here, this little word strip says life is beautiful. So I really love this one. It's such a pretty page, and it just has a warm, welcoming, cozy feel to it. And all right, so this one is our tag pages. It's just called Tag Elements, and these are just so gorgeous. They're so varied. We have the mason jars, the shelves, florals, more of a solid with florals, more of a bitsy floral, envelopes, neutral tags, the window scene, honeycomb, more florals with the bicycle. Just a good variety of images here. Life is sweet with you. So I always love Simple Stories tags. They just really knock it out of the park. On the back side, of course, is the more neutral side of the tags. These are great for journaling, so you could still journal on the back of the tag if you don't adhere it all the way, if you let it be, an interactive piece. And so these are really pretty too. So, sometimes people will use this as a base, and you can, but I do like to use the tags as layering pieces or as just elements alongside my photo. And then we have the journaling elements, and of course I always love this sheet as well, where you can do longer journaling bits, or you can use these just for dates or names. This is just for smaller notations for journaling. The clipboard and more of a ruled page. This one is just like a newsprint with a little strip there for dates or names. Same with the honey jar. And then these little strips down here say Stay Golden, Just Be You, and Love This. So I always like using those. On the back we have a black and lavender florals on the black. And so just a good basic page to coordinate with everything else. Maybe even for photo matting, that'd be really nice. And these are the 3x4 elements, and they are so pretty. It makes me wish I was a pocket pager, but I'm not. They would be good in journals, though, that's for sure. This one has like a library card, the honey on a clipboard with the clipboard, the window scene, the green with the floral cluster and beautiful, the shelves, all the same images that we've been seeing, but in some instances this is just really close up. And then, you know, the postcard one is more on the vertical, but I love those. They're so pretty. And then the back side is a green horizontal stripe. And I know this is going to be really basic and something that we could use as a solid. So you may want to do that. But then you're going to have to give up some of these. So a lot of times what I will do is I will, if I really need this, then I'll choose which section of 3x4s I really want the most. And I'll cut them out and then use the rest as my solid. So that's one way you can do it. And then this is called the 4x6 elements. And so we've got 4 horizontal ones and then 2 vertical ones. So if you need to catch up on your card making, these would be really nice. Gather the sweetness of every day. So again, just really beautiful images. And I really like this one. This is more junk journal looking. And then on the back of that, we have a light lavender shade with more florals. And again, separated so that you could fussy cut them if you want to. So lots of ways to use this. And again, you can use this much like the other one, where you can choose which pieces you want out of this and then save some of this for maybe a border or a 4 or 5 inch strip. All right, so I've got the bits already laid out. I tried to record in the middle of the night and that didn't work so well. So we're starting over here. These are the floral bits and there's 38 pieces. I have them separated out just a little bit. We kind of have some wreath style elements here with the lilacs. And then these are more like single stems. These are, I don't know if these are wheat or if these are lilacs before they turn. But then there's singles and doubles, triples. Then there's a nice bouquet of lilacs right there with a pretty yellow bow. And then over here we have the Simple Stories type clusters and different sizes. It's kind of a small one, just a beautiful, another small one. There's a large cluster. Isn't that beautiful? I just love it. And then this one is a more medium-sized cluster. And then a real small one right here. But these will be so pretty to put alongside your photos. Love, love, love those. And then here at the bottom, we've got some more singles or triples and some honeybees that are trying to get away. So these are like, you can have some singles, you've got triples, doubles. So they're not in a cluster, but you can build your own cluster, or you can use this as a cluster and then, you know, add some leaves or whatever. And I always love adding bees to my page, maybe even more than butterflies. I really like using those. So those are the floral bits. And now let's look at the bits and pieces. And there's so much, I've had to stack it. There is 86 pieces. So, let me just start up here. I just tried to put things that were more iconish, you know, up here. So a honeycomb, a satchel full of lavender, a pot full of lavender, and then there's baskets with lavender in it and honey, and then a mason jar or just a vase. There's another single stem of lavender, and then another little jar, and a little honeycomb with honey dripping, and then a little dipping stick. And then this is just an icon. I love this one. It's got the bread and cheese. So you got your little charcuterie board going there, or cheese board. And then a honeycomb. Love that. And then a mason jar or honey jar. Maybe we could call them honey pots. and this little icon piece. I just love that. Isn't that cute? That'll be fun to use. And then let me go downward and we'll come back around. Here's a little bit larger elements. There's a couple of sizes of the shelving with all the little jars on top of it. Then we've got a circular piece with fields in it, and a little saying down there says Serenity. That would be beautiful on a card front. So I love that. And then this one is really pretty. It reminds me a little bit of, what was it, junk drawers. That has the text on it and the kind of scalloped edge with a floral on it, this time it being a lavender. And then here's a larger window. And then here's our bicycle. And then isn't this cute? It's, you know, a little sunbonnet with the lavender on the brim. And then going up here, we have some more like ticket kind of things and clusters. This is a floral cluster built on a honeycomb. And then this is a more ticket with honeycomb and florals. And then this is another floral cluster with just BU on there. And we have a couple of slides that you can use. Like, I love tucking these behind my photos. View from this side, color transparency, this side towards green. So those are cute. And then here is all of our little tiny pieces. I'm not even going to try to straighten them out. But we have a lot of hexagons. We have jars. We have lots of bees and hearts in purple. I love this one. It's like a honeycomb heart. So there's a couple of those. There's a couple of little word chats, and then some bigger things that could be used as titles or word titles, like Life is Sweet. This one up here says Never Forget. So lots of little bits right in there that'll be fun to bring your pages, you know, to fruition. And then over here we've got some hearts, and they're 4 different sizes, I believe. And so those will be really cute. And I love how they've done the heart in the center with little dots on it. And there's just some honeycombs. So you could put those together and create your own little honeycomb if you want to. And then more bees. And here's some tickets. A lighter lilac one, or even ivory. No, I think it's lilac. And then this one's gold. This is a torn ticket. It's a light, more medium shade, I guess, of lilac. And then there is some Admit One tickets right there. Then they are perforated. And then some titles. We've got Golden. We've got Amazing. We've got Buzz and Bloom. I love that. Buzz and Bloom. So that'll be really cute. And then Anything is Possible. Like that affirmation. And then Beautiful Day. And then this one says Hello Sunshine. Oh, I love that. That's so pretty. Such a warm color. So anyway, this is all of the bits and pieces. So, you know, we have that. We have our, you know, our floral bits. We have all of our papers. We get lots of papers this month. A stencil, your cut file, and the 3 packages of flowers. So all you need to do now is find you some photos that will go with this. I'm thinking spring, outdoor photos, even cooking, or like I said, you know, pantry, working out on your potting bench or whatever like that. I'm excited to use this one, and I hope you'll like it as well. Thanks for coming by. If you don't have your kit already, just go to the website and check to see if there's still one available and grab it. I think you'll really enjoy it. So thanks for coming by. There's details below about how to order a kit. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.